Hello boys and girls, I am back reading more stories for you, and this time I've got one of the greatest books ever, and it's called Where the Wild Things Are. Maybe you're wild things. Maybe your mummies and daddies and grown-ups call you a wild thing from time to time. Maybe this is you, being a wild thing. Let's have a look. The night Max wore his wolf suit and made mischief of one kind and another, chasing the dog down the stairs. His mother called him Wild Thing, and Max said, "I'll eat you up." So he was sent to bed without eating anything. That very night, in Max's room, a forest grew. Can you see, boys and girls? Look. There are trees growing out of the floor and out of the walls. And grew. Where's his bedroom gone, everyone? Look. Turning into a forest. And grew until his ceiling hung with vines and the walls became the world all around. Wow, what an amazing forest. I wonder what it sounds like in that forest. I wonder what animals you might hear. And an ocean tumbled by with a private boat for Max, and he sailed off through night and day, and in and out of weeks, and almost over a year, to where the wild things are. There's a wild thing that lives in the ocean. How does he look, boys and girls? Is he looking brave or a bit scared? How would you feel if you saw a big ocean wild thing? And when he came to the place where the wild things are, they roared their terrible roars. Can you roar a terrible roar? Ready? 3, 2, 1. Roar! They gnashed their terrible teeth. Ready? Let's gnash our terrible teeth, boys and girls. Ready? They rolled their terrible eyes. Okay, let's all roll our terrible eyes. You ready? And they showed their terrible claws. Do you have terrible claws? Ready? Till Max said, "Be still!" and tamed them with the magic trick of staring into all their yellow eyes without blinking once. And they were frightened and called him the most wild thing of all. And they made him king of all wild things. "And now," cried Max, "let the wild rumpus start." Looks like they're having a party, doesn't it, boys and girls? I wonder what you would do at a party. Would you have music? Would you have dancing? That's something to think about. Here they go, boys and girls. They're all swinging in the trees. Ready? Swing in the trees. And some marching. Ready? Go. Now stop, Max said, and sent the wild things off to bed without their supper. And Max, the king of all the wild things, was lonely and wanted to be where someone loved him best of all. I wonder where that is, boys and girls. Look, he looks a bit sad and a bit fed up, doesn't he? I wonder where he wants to go. Then all around, from far away across the world, he smelled good things to eat. What can you smell, boys and girls, that you like to eat? So he gave up being king of where the wild things are. But the wild things cried, "Oh, please don't go. We'll eat you up. We love you so." And Max said, "No." The wild things roared their terrible roars. Ready? Roar your terrible roar. Roar! And gnashed their terrible teeth. And they rolled their terrible eyes. Ready, go. And showed their terrible claws. But Max stepped into his private boat and waved goodbye. And sailed back over a year and in and out of weeks and through a day. And into the night of his very own room, where he found his supper waiting for him. You see, boys and girls, there it is, on the table. And it was still hot. The end. Isn't that a lovely book, boys and girls? I hope you enjoyed that. Now, shall we see if there's some activities that we can do with this? Where the wild things are. My favourite part of that story is the wild rumpus. I get a picture in my head of all the animals dancing around and being a bit crazy. Now, I think that story is particularly useful for us to think about phonics phase 1, aspect 3, which is all about rhythm. Rhythm's very, very important, being able to listen for rhythm. And if you were to have a wild rumpus in your own house to dance to some music, that's really, really good for listening to rhythm. Another thing that you can do with rhythm is you play some rhythm games, like clapping games. So grown-ups, you could clap a rhythm, such as, and encourage your child to listen really carefully and clap the same rhythm back. So listening and clapping back. Working on listening skills is a very important part of phonics phase 1, but also being able to count beats is very important when it comes to counting syllables in words. And these skills that you learn when listening to music and listening to rhythm will really help with your child's phonics when they move on to reading words and looking at phonics phase 2. So I would encourage you all to have your own wild rumpuses, listen to some music, feel the beat, and I would also encourage you to play some rhythm games, clapping along to songs, listening to clapping rhythms and clapping back. I'm sure there's lots of things that you can think of as well. So enjoy wild rumpusing.